Hello everyone, let's solve a simple problem on determining the collinearity of vectors with codewars in C++. Problem statement. You are given two vectors starting from the origin x equals 0, y equals 0 with coordinates x1, y1 and x2, y2. Your task is to find out if these vectors are collinear. A detailed description of the conditions can be found at the link in the description of the video. Let's remember that collinear vectors are two non-zero vectors that lie on the same line or are parallel to each other, and the zero vector is collinear to any vector. Let's start writing code. Let's write standard commands, in particular include IO stream and using namespace std and create two functions. The first function int main and the second function which will determine the collinearity bool collinear. The function arguments will be numbers int type, int x1, int y1, int x2, int y2. Now create variables of type int x1, y1, x2, y2. Then a line for output to the console and line for inputting vector coordinates. Cout and enter vector coordinates x1, y1, x2, y2. Now cin x1, y1, x2, y2, and again a line to output the entered vectors so that the user can see them. Cout first vector 0, 0. I wrote two lines to output vectors to the console, first vector and second vector. Now let's write now the construction of if-else. If let's copy paste x1, y1, x2, y2 and else cout, and in this string also cout. Now let's write the content for our function. As already mentioned, the zero vector is collinear to any vector. Let's write this as a condition. If x1 equal 0 and y1 also equal 0, or x2 equals 0 and y2 equals 0, then return true Now let's write down an expression for determining collinearity in the general case. But here we will have to remember how collinearity is determined. Two vectors are collinear when the determinant composed of the coordinates of these vectors is 0. What does this mean? In our case, we have such matrix is our first vector and this our second vector, x1, y1, x2, y2. The determinant of such matrix is calculated as the x1 multiplied by the y2 minus x2 y1, and this expression should be equal 0, or x1 y2 equal x2 y1. Now you just need to write this condition in the code. Return x1 multiplied by y2 equal x2 multiplied by y1. Now we finish writing our construction in the main function. See out vectors are collinear and else vectors are not collinear. Now we run the code and test it on the example given in the conditions. For example, 1, 1, 1, 1. Vectors are collinear. This is true. 1, 2, 2, 4. Vectors are collinear. This is also true. 1, 1, 6, 1. Vectors are not collinear. And this is true. I hope the video was helpful. Thanks for watching and good luck to everyone.